Add to stage. Okay. I'm not live here. This is interesting. Okay. All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Am I really live? Can I see the comments? Let me know if you can see and hear me. Y'all, whoever's here. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Let's see. Okay, I'm live. Let's see, what about Facebook? I am live on Facebook. Okay. Instagram. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first edition of Lunch and Earn. I'm Jennifer Brandison. Oh, I'm so excited to do this live, finally hop on live. I know that you all have seen all of my posts, all of my cute videos talking about taking responsibility for your own mental and physical health. But I wanted in interviews and podcasts and all that good stuff. So I wanted to come on and kick off a series of Lunch and Earn because how you get to the next level is not how you think you get to the next level. And so, for those who don't know, I am the stress relief coach, and I wrote a book called Release the Pressure. It was my own personal journey, my own personal story. I completely healed from 4 health conditions. I had fibroids, I had endometriosis, I had high blood pressure, and I had a speech impediment since I was 3 years old. But as much as a blessing that is, that wasn't necessarily the entirety of the transformation. I gained more confidence, I got more money, and I got more notoriety. And I talk a lot about it, talk a lot about how I had to take responsibility and take stock of my own life and take stock of my mental and physical health. And in these times, that the levels of stress that leaders are experiencing is indescribable. And I find that a lot of y'all are holding on to things, titles, material things to really define who you are. And you have to define you. And so I wrote this little book right here. This is my first time going live with Lunch and Earn, but I have a few points that I want to hit and really just share my own personal story as well. So, how did I get here? It's been a long, long, long journey, but really it was me wanting to get to the next level in my life and wanting to really achieve this level of success that was taught to me, that I had in my head, that I had an image of, that was an illusion of success. And what I was doing was carrying the weight of the world. I was carrying the weight of the world up on my shoulders voluntarily. That weight I didn't necessarily just automatically pick up. It was passed down to me from generations. A lot of what we go through are generational, and I want to talk a little bit about that and how to release the pressure, and how I release my own pressure. And a lot of it was just putting that weight of the world down. putting the weight of the world down and really forging and creating my own story. And I've talked to a lot of women, and a lot of women says that my message of taking time out for you, and how that really resonates with them. But that's surface level release the pressure. That's not really the entirety of my brand. That's not the entirety of my story as well, because it's more than just taking time out for you. It's more than just carving out that little bit of time, because truth be told, a lot of us don't know how to be still. A lot of us don't know how to find our own purpose. But I thought the key was to make more money. And I thought all my problems would go away. And I didn't know the extent in which I was suffering. Over 176 million women worldwide suffer from at least two or at least multiple chronic health conditions and have the most mental health needs. And we are the most successful, and we don't know it. I didn't know how much power I had until someone had to recognize it in me, until I recognized it in myself. And so this is how you release the pressure. So I have a few points here. But key number one is to focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. I always say the key to stress relief is to mind your business. It is to mind your business. We have to stop listening to other people. We have to stop listening to what other people are saying to us, what other narratives people are formed, because the extent of the weight of the world that's on our shoulders has more to do with other people's problems than it is our own. So we're carrying other people's issues and we're dealing with our own issues. And that's a lot of weight to drag to the next level. You're either not going to get there, or when you get there, it's going to bury you. And if it wasn't for me focusing on myself and taking the attention and taking the time and the focus off of what was in front of me, I may not be here. And truth be told, the hard truth for a lot of us, the hard realization for a lot of us, is that if we don't take the time to really focus on ourselves and take the focus off of other people, then we might not make it either. Then you might not make it either. And so stop listening to other people's trauma. Stop listening, taking people's advice to the extent of their own trauma. I always say that people's belief in you is to the extent of what they can do, of what you can do for them. People's belief in you is to the extent of what you can do for them, or what they believe themselves to be true. So, what is true for you? Release the pressure. Drop people's expectations. The expectation of performing, that was one of the heart of my stress. I was performing for other people, performing for validation, for attention, for um, trying to chase invisible goals, and wanting people to support for me, and wanting people to clap for me. And I didn't even know how to clap for myself. Like, I had no idea to the extent that I was suffering at all. And at the very core of other people's stress is not following the dream that God put in your heart, not following the dream that God put in you, and doing everything just to be accepted by everyone else. And leaning on other people's opinions, and those opinions are will come and go like the wind. We're groomed to be people pleasers. We're groomed to please other people, and people pleasing is an impossible job. And that creates an immense amount of pressure. It's like a 2-ton weight that is on you, and all you want to do is move forward. Like, I couldn't stop serving. I couldn't stop serving, and I was living the life that someone else told me to live. It was like putting clothes on that don't fit. They were either too big or too small. Like, I had on the wrong armor for my own battles, for my own issues of life. And I thought the key was to work really hard and do what everyone else told me to do. And that wasn't it, because what I had been doing wasn't working anymore. What I had been doing and forging this path and this blueprint of what I thought success wasn't, it wasn't getting me anywhere. I thought everyone was blazing past me and their accomplishments and their goals, and I felt like I was left and I was stuck and I couldn't get forward and I couldn't move forward because I was serving other people. So I can see the fruit of what I did in others, but because I wasn't doing it for myself, I couldn't see the fruit of it for myself because I wasn't doing it for myself. But I could see the fruit in everyone else. Everyone else benefited from things that I built, things from that I created, things that I poured into them. And I would much rather pour into things, or at least focus on things that were taking from me instead of things that were pouring into me. And it left me depleted. Like my cup was barren, it was empty. I was giving from broken pieces, giving fragments and pieces of my power away. I was totally unaware of my power. I didn't know how great power I had, the power of influence, the the power that everything I touch turns to gold. I didn't know what that meant. Like, what does that mean? Like, no, like I thought the problem was everybody else. No, the problem ain't everybody else. The problem is you. And when we take on the weight of the world, like I said before, we take on other people's issues as our own. Y'all gotta stop that. Y'all have to drop the weight of the world. And so my second point is stop sharing trauma. And that was me. I wanted to travel around the world and I wanted to share my story, and I wanted, other people to know how badly I had suffered, and I was sharing the pain of what I went through, and that's all I see on social media. That's all I hear in the news, of people sharing their pain and not the goodness and not the triumph and the overcoming of their stories. I see people sharing all types of fear and pain and disbelief, and people wanting you to be in the same place they are. Misery loves company. And y'all are not knowing that you're doing it. Everyone wants to share advice that other people, that the young people can, that the young people can benefit from. And you're not even benefiting from the same advice. Stop sharing trauma until you help yourself. Stop sharing trauma until you can prove to yourself, or prove the results for yourself, that you can overcome the same issues that you're talking about, that you can overcome the same struggles you're talking about, that you are now in a brand new situation and you can teach someone else how to get there, because no one benefits from trauma, no one wins from trauma at all, and it just creates more pressure. And so your system becomes an ecosystem when you do that, and it's very hard to get out of. It's almost like creating a prison for yourself, building walls, emotional walls for yourself. I suppress my emotions. And that's why a lot of y'all are exhausted. Because the level of effort that it takes to alter your way of being for someone else, to make someone else's happiness, and you're not even thinking about your own happiness, and you think that your own happiness lies in someone else, and it don't. Your happiness lies in you. So that's what it means when I say take time out for yourself. That's what I mean when I say like you have to be still. That's what I mean when I say release the pressure. We always want to help other people, but the key to releasing the pressure is have compassion for yourself. All of the love that you want someone else to give you. I talk to women all the time that I want support. I want to feel present. I want the same love that I gives everyone else. Give it to yourself first. Give it to yourself. And have more, yeah, like I said, have more compassion and more self-compassion, because that's recognizing your own suffering and then choosing to do something about it. Y'all are willing to accept defeat and letting just life just chew you up and spit you out. Have compassion for yourself. It's so easy to um recognize someone else's suffering, recognize an organization's suffering and how they're not right, but we fail to recognize it in ourselves. That's true compassion. Can you recognize your own suffering? And then can you choose to do something about it and do something different? Are you willing to disrupt your entire world to be able to go get your happiness? Are you willing to be able to disrupt your entire system of what you created and willing to do something different? Are you willing to live outside of the system that you created, or outside of the system that was made for you not to succeed anyway? Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to leave everything behind? That's what I had to do. I had to start from scratch. People look at me like I had two heads when I say that I put my phone on do not disturb for 4 months. That is a true story. Yes, that did happen. I put my phone on do not disturb. The only person I talked to was my mama, to tell her I was alive. But that was it. That was it. I didn't need to talk to anybody else. I had had enough. Have you had enough? Because for me, there wasn't a breakdown or a defining moment. I had suffered from, four health conditions for over 9 years at that point. And I really just wanted to do something different, and I was exhausted, but I didn't know how to get myself out of it. Are you asking for help? Are you taking the help that you're asking for? Are you recognizing the opportunities? That's the key. You have to recognize those opportunities and look at what success is costing you. What is success costing you? The number one question I love to ask women after, because people love to say, "Well, I do take time out for myself, and I do all the things, and I have great habits." But when I ask about it, well, can you tell me a regular day? Not what you think you could be doing, but what you actually do. It's very hard for someone in when they're describing their regular day to figure out how they fit. So I ask them, and it's usually meditation and prayer at the beginning, at the beginning of the day, and then they take into account for everyone else and having resentment for everyone else, where everything that we do is a choice, is a decision. Every single thing we do is a decision. Are you willing to be accountable to yourself? And half of those prayers that y'all praying, they ain't, those are rescue prayers. Lord, please deliver me from the spirit of nuck if you buck. Keep me from going upside my coworker's head, Lord. Cover me as I go outside and eat lunch in my car today and every day. That is not meditation. That is not taking time out for yourself. Or are you saying a prayer of gratitude? Or are you asking God to give you the armor to fight throughout the day? And you're not supposed to be fighting either. And you're not supposed to be fighting either. How are you making yourself a priority? How are you taking stock of your own life? Have you taken stock of your own life? Have you really sat down and really thought about all of the things that you're doing that aren't working, and have you taken stock of it, or are you just managing like the little things that are in front of you? Because that's how we get here anyway. It's always the small things. It's always the small things. Well, I don't really help, but I'm a help today. Someone calls you and they talk about their problems, but you don't really want to hear it. You don't say I don't want to hear it. All you do is just be like, well, I'm gonna listen to them just this one time. All that stuff adds up. All of that stuff adds up. It does. It does. And are we normalizing health conditions? I always say that a lot of us don't have a health issue. Like imposter syndrome, y'all have heard me say this before in my little videos. Imposter syndrome is not real, it does not exist. Imposter syndrome is not real. A lot of these terms, a lot of these things that people want to identify themselves with because they're desperate to be a part of themselves greater than themselves. A lot of people want to chase titles and want to be labeled something because they don't know how to define who they are outside of it. Who are you outside of it? Who are you? Health issues can be resolved. Endometriosis and fibroids and high blood pressure, I had that too. That can be resolved. What you have is an identity issue. You know, People are desperate for community. And so they do everything to get accepted by everyone. And the reason why you hold on to those terms so much, or say how many blood pressure medications you're saying or you're taking, or it's because you want to belong to something. Belong to yourself first. So if you let it go, who do you belong to? A lot of y'all don't want to talk about that because that's a heart issue. That's a heart issue. That's a lot of us don't want to talk about that. Talk about how we hold on to terms so much to define ourselves. That doesn't define who we are. Our experiences don't define us unless we let them define us. Who are you? Have you taken the time to really find out? Release the pressure. Evaluate how you're showing up. The reason why I talk about career so much is because um, I used to make my job the priority, not myself, but my job. And a lot of women do. I mean, in essence and logic, you would think that it would be the priority. It's your livelihood, right? No, that's wrong. No, it's not the priority. You are the priority. We make our jobs our everything, and we don't realize that our alarm bells are ringing until something goes wrong in that job. Until something goes wrong in that job, that's when we pay attention. And we still think it's everybody else. Toxic work environments don't just become toxic. Toxic work environments are toxic when you get there, and most of them will be toxic when you leave. I talked to one lady who told me that the trend was that what they're doing in higher education. And she told me to write this down because she was so sure that women's resources are being cut and their staff are being cut even before you get into the position. Well, if that's true, then why do you deem yourself unworthy enough to be in that position in the first place and not seek out other opportunities at that point, or not even have other opportunities lined up because you are the best? So if you know that you're the best, then you should have a life that reflects that. Is that a life that reflects who you want to be? Do you have the courage to say no? That's not going to happen. This is what I require. Most of us don't have the courage to do that because we don't deem ourselves worthy. We're used to doing more with less. I said it. We're used to doing more with less, making a way out of no way, turning lemons into lemonade. Let's see what the comments are. I can't see the comments over here. But yes, making a way out of no way, turning lemons into lemonade. We've all heard the terms. And so we used to doing more with less, well, accept those positions. I took every job that I was overqualified for. Because I didn't know my power. I wasn't aware of my power. I wasn't aware of who to the extent of who I was. I couldn't define that for myself. So how you're showing up is key. I didn't build relationships, solid, genuine relationships. 'Cause I felt like I couldn't. I had other problems to attend to. You know, what are you doing? Are you just working hard just to work hard? Is there a purpose for it? There's a purpose in everything. We'll talk about that on another live, but there's purpose in everything. What are you doing? Put that weight of the world down. You set the standard. You set the expectation for how you want to live. No one else does that. And that goes into my next point. Are you managing what is around you, or have you crafted your big vision? Do you know how to dream again? The women always say, "Well, I like that you said that you're taking time out for you, but have you actually sat still?" It takes a lot. It takes for us to move heaven and earth to get a woman to sit still, to be still, to sit in silence. It takes a whole lot. That's where your purpose is, though. That's where your dream is. That's where your joy is. That's where your happiness is. When you sit down and be still, that's where that is. You're not going to find it in anyone else. You're not going to find it in other people. You're not going to find it in material things. I thought if I had the house and the car, I wanted to buy a house. I didn't want to invest in myself. I would have been crazy in my house. The time is going to pass anyway. Time is moving at the speed of lightning, y'all. Like, it is almost 2024. Where's the urgency? Where is the urgency? And one of the questions that I detest, because I it's more of y'all don't believe in what's possible. That people ask me, well, how did you get off high blood pressure? Well, how did you heal, and how did you do things? And I tell them small steps, and yeah, there is a method, but all it does is just reinforces their disbelief. Do you believe that you can have the best of everything because you are the best? It just reinforces them not believing in what's possible. So nothing I say is going to convince you, because you already made up in your mind that that you weren't going to believe me anyway. Because everything else, data, articles, social media, the news tells you otherwise. And who is this person, this crazy lady, telling me that I can move past my situation. I can move past my circumstances. You've allowed your circumstances to define you. That's why. How about you reinforce the possibilities of what can happen? Release the pressure, y'all. Release the pressure. And finally, you have to let it go. You have to let go. Let go of everyone else's issues. Let go of everyone else's pain. A lot of our trauma, a lot of things that we go through in life are from the mistakes, that other people made and we took on as our own? Are you taking responsibility for what other people did? Let that go. Let that go. My mentor calls me the modern day woman with the issue of blood because I left everything behind to get my miracle and practice every single day. You know, I heard a quote on Instagram that said that if you practice discipline, you never have to pray for a miracle. I can argue that if you practice it, you can become the miracle. I am the physical embodiment of of the information that I teach because I did it first. Release the pressure. Y'all are wound up so tight. Y'all ready to fight any and everybody that can tell you that you don't have imposter syndrome, that can tell you that you can move past high blood pressure. Y'all willing to fight because y'all are focusing on everything that's in front of you, like this fist. But if you want to dream, if you want to get to your next level, you're going to have to expand. Let it go. Let it go. It's not worth it. It's not worth your life. Everything I did to save my life. What measures are you going to take to save yours? No one's coming. You don't need the support. You don't need anyone to pour into you. You need to pour into yourself. Stop focusing on things that are taking from you. Focus more on the things that are pouring into you. Change your focus. Take your attention off the high blood pressure. Take your attention off the medical conditions. Take your focus off of having the all the problems in your job because it's not your job anyway. Everything starts and stops with you. Everything starts and stops with you. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? What are you willing to do about it? Because y'all not even willing to get up. Y'all are accepting defeat. I talked to this one woman who um, sh- she said that she was stressed out to the max. She ate it for breakfast, and that she had recently lost her job, and something made her mad, and she went and took a walk, and I up and called her and talked to her about a month later. It sounded like she aged 10 years, and she said, "You know what, Jennifer? Had no idea that I was sick, suffering in her success." And still saying that she has to think about it because she don't know if she has the energy to be able to get up. She doesn't know if she has it in her to be able to move past her situation. Y'all can't educate me on what's permanent. Every single health condition that I had was documented as having no cure. Every single one. And I still got my money because I'm already great. All I had to do was just be still. All I had to do was just say no. Say no. All I had to do was draw the line in the sand of what I was willing to tolerate and what I wasn't willing to tolerate. All I did was focus on me and paid attention to me instead of the actions of other people. All I did was pay attention to me and the issues of my heart and had compassion and the love that I want everyone else. I gave it to myself first. Are y'all willing to at least do that? To at least get up? Somebody will come get you if you just get up. I can't help you get up. You have to do that yourself. I'm a living testament that you can thrive and achieve against all odds. And here I am. I didn't know to the extent of my own suffering. You got to save yourself. When what does that mean for you? Take inventory, take stock of your own life. So, let me see if we have any questions. Let's see. 'Cause I can't see the comments. So, let's see. No one has any questions? I see y'all watching. Hey, y'all. No one has any questions for me. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Let me go through my points again. Focus on yourself. Stop listening to other people. Stop. Are you ask yourself the question if you are living the life of someone else, and are you taking other people's issues as your own? Stop sharing trauma. Release the pressure. That puts pressure on yourself too, to live up to a standard that's impossible. Look at what success is costing you. Stop normalizing your health conditions. Normalizing that's not who you are. Evaluate how you're showing up. Define yourself for yourself. Y'all don't have health issues. You're in the middle of an identity crisis. And let it go. Let it go. Let's see. Thing will fall out from beneath me 3 weeks ago. I didn't want to get up. I was ready to throw in the towel, begging God to take me out of this misery. Chanel, you gotta try it again. I wanted to give up too. And it seemed like everything was falling apart. And I was hopeless. I didn't have there was one at one point I didn't have a desire to get up, which said you have to keep getting up. You have to keep trying. That's the point. If everything is falling out from beneath you is because you're on shaky ground anyway. Your foundation is shaky. You have the ability to be able to rebuild how you want to rebuild it your way. But if you're continue to walk on shaky ground, you're going to fall anyway. So before that happens, get up. Like before that happens, learn how to rebuild your foundation from the ground up. And if it takes starting from scratch, then start from scratch. That's what I had to do. I pushed everything aside and said, okay, who do I need to be now? And that's the question that you can ask yourself. That's the question you can answer. Who do I want to be right now? Does it matter what I have? Does it matter my circumstances? Does it matter what other people are telling me? That does not matter. Who am I right now? And who do I want to be? And align your life and your lifestyle to reflect that. So, and also go to releasethepressurenow.com and get my insight at no cost and learn how to increase your confidence and get promoted without sacrificing your mental and physical health. Stay connected with me. I'm all over this app. I'm all over LinkedIn. I'm all over Facebook. Hey, Instagram. But release the pressure. Once you release the pressure, you can start from a blank slate. It's okay. You can create a new story. And I'm going to continue to do these lunch and earn series because, like I said, how you get to the next level is what got you here won't get you there. All of your pain, all of your suffering, all of the goodness of life, all of the great things that life has to offer, you are deserving of it. But you're not going to get there if you keep harnessing your pain, if you keep harnessing scarcity and survival. You're not going to get there by like that. Or if you do, it's going to take you a really long time. It took me almost a decade to get out of my situation. And as soon as I decided to release my own pressure and do what was right for me It happened like that, less than 4 months. So, hey, Amanda. All right, y'all. Well, happy Saturday. If y'all don't have any more questions, this was the first edition of Lunch and Earn How to Release the Pressure. You can also catch the replay again. You can stay connected. Go to releasethepressurenow.com, get my insight and no cost, and learn how to increase your confidence and get promoted without sacrificing your mental and physical health. Peace. Stay woke, y'all. How do I end this?